fallout, smoke, women crying for their sons because their sons are not, Romans killing riotous groups that are rising up. Free Judea, free our people, autonomy for Israel. You had Herod, an Edomite, and his dynasty. Herod's ruling, killing any potential threat, any potential Messiah. Then you had the Pharisees and the Sadducees that we learned from Josephus are not Jews by birth. No.
Brothers and sisters, they are there. We are not lost. We are scattered. We are original Hebrew.
Let's go! All praises be to the Most High God. Yeah, I say it.
I was opportune to meet my grandparents, whom from childhood had always made us to understand that we are one of the lost tribes of Israel. Okay. So from my grandmother.
And ethnicity is a cult. What's up, Zion Dynasty? Let's go! Yoruba, Ephraim of the tribe of Joseph. This is your favorite dreaded Israelite, son of man, son of Yah, even Mr. JB Zion. Welcome back to the channel, family. Welcome back to Zion Dynasty. This is yours truly. I'm back in the French the flesh, about to hit y'all with that haymaker of legend. Woo-hoo! Bang! All glory, honor, dominion, and power to the Most High. Yeah, I say yeah. He who was, is, and shall be, the mighty one of Yaakov, the holy one of Yasharal, the resurrector of the dry bones of Ezekiel, the redeemer of Zion, and he that has restored his firstborn, even Yasharal, even Ephraim. All praises to our Father, the Most High, Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai. Y'all, welcome back to the channel. Y'all, we back in this thing. And I hope y'all checked out that last video. Please, that last video about that whole artificial intelligence thing, Esau is creating an army of sentient beings, I'm telling y'all, that are gonna go to war against the Most High and his flesh and blood Zion. I'm telling y'all. So now this is gonna piggyback this. I know that was a lot, y'all. Now let me switch gears a little bit, because what I'm about to go into connects with this whole fight for life that's been going on with the whole Roe versus Wade controversy. Now y'all, I'm gonna deal with every angle of this as objectively as I can. I'm gonna show you guys the Israelite perspective, which is close to what a lot of conservative Christians also feel about life. I'm gonna show that perspective, and I'm gonna show the pro-choice perspective as well. I'm gonna try to be fair, because there are instances where you could go either way, but ultimately we side with life. Now let's deal with this. So I'm gonna show you guys a clip of the actual Senate hearing where they overturned Roe versus Wade. First, I'm gonna give y'all a brief explanation for y'all that might not know, because a lot of our people might not know the ins and outs of all this stuff. They always got something going on in the news and some kind of trial hearing. They still have the January 6th riot going on in it, and I'm like, that was terrorism, right? If niggas had, I hate to say it, if our people, Israel, niggas had have done it, they would have dropped a bomb on the White House. If Negroes had a win on that grass, it would have been a sniper that you know not that would have been shooting a bullet from a building 10 miles down the street. I'm telling y'all. So that shouldn't even be up for debate. So a lot of these different trial hearings and stuff go on for weeks, go on for months. So a lot of y'all might not have known about the Roe versus Wade incident. I'm gonna give y'all a brief explanation. So basically, Roe versus Wade was the legal hearing verdict that was reached in terms of the whole abortion incident. Roe versus Wade basically made abortion legal from a federal standpoint. That means the federal government kind of got involved, not at the state level, but at the federal level, to say that abortion should be allowed in all states. It should not be hindered. A person should be able to have an abortion anywhere, basically. Now, with them overturning that, and I think it's like 49, 50 years old, that court hearing, with them overturning Roe v. Wade, basically now the power of choice has been given at the state legislator level. That means individual states now get to make a decision on whether or not their state allows it to be legal for a person to seek to have an abortion at a clinic within that state's jurisdiction, or within that state, basically. I'm gonna show y'all the actual court hearing. that was where in live time when they came up with the verdict and how the people were reacting that were protesting outside of the White House. I'm gonna show y'all that, but I just wanted to kind of give y'all working knowledge. Basically, now the states get to decide, and as of now, states have been banning abortion left and right. I live in Alabama, right? We live in the Bible Belt. Man, they was lynching Negroes at the same time, but okay, we live in the Bible Belt, right? We live in the Bible Belt where it's very conservative, supposedly, but except for when it comes to Israelites, our people, but very conservative state. So it did not surprise me that within hours they banned every clinic. So now this does not ban abortion. This just means that people have to go to the states that are allowing it, and those states are becoming safe havens for people that are seeking abortions. Now I'm just giving y'all just a brief overview. Now I'm gonna show y'all a clip. I think Fox News had live coverage of it where this hearing was coming forth, and then we're gonna come back and talk about the biblical perspective, the Christian perspective, the Israelite perspective, and what I feel and how I feel about this whole incident and why they're choosing to try to play by the Bible. Now, I don't know, y'all, but I'm gonna show y'all that clip real quick and we're gonna jump right back into it. All praises, let's check that out.
The case regarding Roe versus Wade is now in. All right, so this is the case that involves Roe v. Wade, established 49 years ago. The decision is out. It's been issued by Justice Alito, and Roe v. Wade, according to our reports from the U.S. Supreme Court and our own Shannon Bream, is that Roe v. Wade has been overturned, and the question of abortion has been returned to the states. It's been 50 years since that landmark Supreme Court ruling, and conservatives in government and in law have been working for 50 years to overturn it, and this is the live reaction now in real time outside the U.S. Supreme Court in our nation's capital.
You're seeing there are people who are overjoyed about the decision in this particular shot here. And then you also have people who are obviously going to be dismayed about this. This leak happened about 56 days ago or so, 55 days ago, and they've been waiting for this. We do have some great team coverage for you. We believe that Shannon Bream, are you available to us now?
I am, and as you know, we now get these by computer. In the old days, we would get the hard copies and we would run them down the steps, but the initial first line of the read of the syllabus, which is not the actual opinion, but it is the summary of the decision, it says that Roe and Casey are overruled. And the voting that we thought was together, it looks like it has stayed together. Justice Alito has authored the opinion. He is joined by Justices Gorsuch, Kavanaugh, Thomas, and Barrett. There are a couple of concurrences. The one that we're most interested in is going to be the one by the Chief Justice. And we'll see what he had to write, because we've thought all along he would not be a vote to overturn Roe, but that he would be somebody who might want to try to find some middle ground. That Mississippi law, which bans most abortions after 15 weeks, that he would essentially probably uphold that, but not want to go that extra step for Roe. And the court essentially says today that Roe and Casey are gone. It says, we end this opinion where we began. Abortion presents a profound moral question. The Constitution does not prohibit the citizens of each state from regulating or prohibiting abortion. Roe and Casey arrogated that authority. We now overrule those decisions and return that authority to the people and their elected representatives. The judgment of the Fifth Circuit reversed and remanded for further proceedings. So Roe and Casey, officially, this vote is out. The votes are in. Once it's officially out, the leak, it was interesting, but it didn't lock these votes in. They're now officially in. And Roe and Casey, you can hear, I think, a lot of the pro-life groups that are out there behind us at the court. They've been fighting for this ever since Roe. And now this victory that many of them didn't think was going to be possible, some of them in their lifetimes. But based on these states that after Roe and in the last couple of years have specifically passed laws they knew would go immediately to court, Mississippi was one of those. Many of the lawmakers involved said our ideal in this is to get this to the court to challenge Roe. They knew it wouldn't stand up against initial challenges, or that it would be immediately in court. And so something that started a couple years ago in the state legislature has now made it here to the Supreme Court and has done what they hope to do, which is dismantle Roe v. Casey in a 5-4 vote. And we'll look at the Chief's concurrence too to see what his language on this is. We never thought he was part of the of the majority, those 5 votes to put this together, but it'll be interesting exactly to see what he says on this. But with that opinion from Justice Alito, we'll see how closely this tracks with the draft, but the bottom line doesn't change. Roe and Casey have been overruled.
Shannon, reading 2 lines from the opinion here, quote, "There is nothing in the Constitution about abortion, and the Constitution does not implicitly protect the right." Here's another line. "It is time to heed the Constitution and return the issue of abortion to the people's elected representatives," quoting from that opinion to the Supreme Court for how the reaction is happening now live.
Yeah, and not surprising that the justices that are dissenting would stick together. We do have a couple of concurrences. Justice Thomas wrote his own concurrence. Justice Kavanaugh did as well. And the Chief is the one that we're going to want to look at. But let me get to the dissent here, and let's see what they have to say, because we know they've been very full-throated. There have been tensions at the court. We've seen that in some of what has come out in other opinions recently, particularly from Justice Sotomayor, has had some language about the court being restless. Although she had very nice words to say about Justice Thomas not long ago, we know that there has been some distrust. We don't have the name of the leaker who originally gave us that opinion or gave it to Politico weeks ago, and so what we're left with is a lot of suspicion within the court. We haven't had any updates on that leak investigation, and so we don't know how close the court is or is not into finding that. Here we have Justice Breyer, Sotomayor, and Kagan all sign their name to the dissent. So instead of saying Justice Breyer writes or Justice Sotomayor writes and they all, the others joined, they have all 3 put their name on this dissent. And they talk about the fact that women for nearly half a century have relied on Roe v. Wade. The government could not control a woman's body or the course of her life. It could not determine what her future would be. They say we get the divisiveness of this particular issue. There's nothing else like it out there. But it says today the court discards balance. It says that from the very moment of fertilization, a woman has no rights to speak of. A state can force her to bring a pregnancy to term, even at the steepest personal and familial costs. An abortion restriction the majority holds is permissible whenever rational, the lowest level of scrutiny known to the law. Clearly, those 3 have written a very spirited dissent. And it's important to remember as well, states across the country have a lot of trigger laws that are going to kick in now from this decision, and they go to the extremes. And some states, it's going to be virtually impossible to get an abortion legally, and others, I talked with Governor Jared Polis not long ago. Colorado is essentially, up until the moment of birth, they have nothing that stops you from having an abortion there. People may travel. Some of these states may become abortion sanctuaries. Some of the states that have called themselves pro-life sanctuaries on the other side say, in this state, you won't be able to get an abortion. So this decision appears to confirm everything that we saw from that leak weeks ago. There's been a lot of back and forth about why the court didn't just get this out, because until we got this official opinion today, these votes were cast in stone. There was worry about these justices. We have somebody now charged with thinking about trying to assassinate Justice Kavanaugh. So today it is official. The votes are locked in. We have 7 other opinions left, but I don't think anybody's too worried about those at this moment.
So family, it's a lot. Y'all can see the mixed emotion. You saw people crying that were protesting for pro-life. They were showing the images of the babies that were inside the womb. Very controversial, y'all. This is perhaps the most controversial event to happen in American recent years. I would say maybe about 50 years since they passed Roe v. Wade. Very controversial. And you also saw the pro-choice people saying that this is my body. As a woman, I should have the choice to be able to choose what to do with my body, right? And I'm gonna deal with both perspectives real quick. Go into the Bible perspective. Now, one thing I will say, they did have a sign, the pro-choice people, saying, keep your religion out of my body. Now, I thought that was sketchy. I'm trying to keep it objective, and we're gonna walk through both sides. Now, first, let's deal with the pro-choice. Now, a lot of them feel like, and there are circumstances that I agree with, if a woman is sexually violated or raped and it has a baby by her offender, she should have a choice of how to navigate that situation. And even that could be up for debate. Some people say, well, 2 wrongs don't make a right. Should she be able to kill this life? That if this zygote, if this embryo is left to the natural course of things, those cells are already proliferating at a high level. That means once conception happens, family, and this is from a medical perspective, once that conception happens of that sperm with that oocyte or that egg, once that takes place, there's a series of events that is going to carry out basically virtually without any interference. It's already a ticking time bomb. That baby is proliferating. Those cells are going through mitosis, meiosis. They're proliferating at a high level, creating the embryo that we know as that will become the baby, right? So, but I do understand that some women that go through certain traumatic events like that should be able to choose because they didn't ask for that. Now, from a Christian perspective, from an Israelite perspective also, I'm with the whole, there is a better way to handle that. Pick that baby up for adoption and that kind of thing, but I know that's controversial. But let me deal with a more blatant example. If having that baby is going to cause harm to the mother, I also think that needs to be in the mother's power to choose. Because two wrongs don't make it right. You're saying, well, we have to kill the mother, or the mother's life is going to be sacrificed to bring this baby. Now it's a life for a life, and nobody should be put in that situation. So you should default in the mother's side, seeing how the baby is not a fully functioning human being yet to operate outside of the mother. And I know some people, and I'm just giving both sides, and I'm gonna show you guys my personal view based on the scriptures, based on Israel. Now, so these women are saying if they go through a tragic event, or if they're unable to live and give birth to this baby, that they should have choice. Now let's deal with the whole concept of the government intervening in the lives of individuals, telling them what to do with their own body. Now y'all already know, Israel, we don't agree with the mandate with the COVID vaccine or any kind of mandate making you put something in your body and that kind of thing. Now, it gets very sketchy because the government can say that they're created to protect the society, protect the nation, protect the civilians of that nation, and promote life, liberty, the pursuit of happiness, all that thing, to protect human life within the borders of that government's reach, i.e. the American government protecting the American people. So if they feel like with an outbreak, oh, well, this is going to jeopardize life, then they're going to say, we're going to mandate this COVID vaccine. I'm just giving you a basic understanding. We're going to mandate this to protect life. Now, if you look at from the terms of women and the whole abortion thing, they're saying, well, the government shouldn't be able to tell me what to do with my body. Well, at that moment, you have two different bodies that are existing at the same time. You and another life that is innocent, can't speak for itself, can't defend itself, and the government is trying to protect that life. Now, I'm going to give y'all some of that whole Democratic agenda that's been going on lately with abortion. They have been allowing people to have abortions up to the third trimester, family. That means a baby that's 30 plus weeks that is basically could exist. It'll be a premature baby if you went on and did an emergency C-section or something like that. It would have to be in a NICU and that kind of thing, we know. But that baby is already developed. That's a fully functioning human being that can operate autonomously from its mother. Now let's look at that. So the Democratic agenda has been allowing people to have abortions all the way up to that baby's already formed, ready to come out. So now you have a tough situation because it's like, man, these are actual human beings that y'all are killing. This is murder, right? And this baby can't speak, can't fight for itself and fight for its life. So when women say, well, I should have the right to my own body, yes, your own body, but if this baby is a fully functioning human being that can operate, your body and its body have become separated. Now the question has been, what is the lines by which this is a fully autonomous human being? Now let's go to the biblical perspective. Now we already know what the Most High told Jeremiah, that before I formed you in your mother's womb, I knew you. Now there's a lot of different interpretations that, okay, he knew his spirit, he knew his purpose, he knew him via his ancestors, he knew him through the purpose that he was going to operate through that lineage, like a messianic prophecy or something like that. His birth was foretold, he is his ancestors, he knows his personality, the Most High sending that spirit into the earth. But it's more plain than that, family. I ain't even trying to go that deep. Before I formed you in your mother's womb, I knew you, called you, set you apart, and had a purpose for you. Now, let's see how that conflicts with the whole pro-choice abortion sentiment. If the Most High already knew that soul, by the time that sperm meets that oocyte, it's already a human being, family. Because if left to the natural course of things, that baby is going to progress normally. And if the mother drinks a bunch of wine or alcohol and jeopardizes the baby's life by smoking or something to actually kill the baby, then that could abort the baby naturally. But if that mother just sticks to doing her natural course of things, eating, allowing life to play out, that baby is going to be formed in that moment of conception. So if the Most High already knew you before you got here, and that flesh is already about to be formed. That spirit has already made conception with that soul. That baby already has a personality, already has giftings, talents, purpose, already by the time of the conception between that sperm and that oocyte. And I know a lot of y'all like, JB, this is not, you shouldn't even have to explain this. There are people that get really emotional and passionate about this whole thing. So we got to go through it. Now, from an Israelite perspective, this is a no-brainer. We believe in life. We believe in giving back to the thing that gave you life. We believe in honoring the nature of the Most High's creation. We believe in honoring just how the Most High has orchestrated life itself. That's why we fight for our people's rights, but in a way of peace to create peace with all people. That's where we come from as an Israelite community. Honoring life. That stuff is sacred amongst our people. Has been sacred since ancient Israel, where they had ceremonies for the consummation of the marriage between the husband and the wife, and they kept the tokens of the virginity. They kept all of that stuff, and that consummation was holy. That baby carried within it the lineage of his forefathers. That baby carried the inheritance of that paternal line, of that specific tribe of Israel. That was a big deal. And a man child, don't get me started on that. There were kings that were born. There were treaties that were forged based on the consummation of marriage. This was a big deal when you go back in antiquity, when you're looking at a time period, and they say a barbarianistic or aboriginal, you know, when those Israelites, them black folks was ruling and they was just eating the tree and the berries. People try to ridicule that time period in history as saying the Dark Ages, but they had more sense than a lot of this capitalistic chaos that we got going on today. Back during that time, our people honored one another. We honored life. You didn't have confusion like LGBT. Now society, in the progress of technology, has actually regressed in terms of morality. Y'all gotta hear me. So from an Israelite perspective, there's no question. This is a life. This is a baby that needs to be fought for. And as soon as that conception takes place, this is an autonomous human being that deserves the right to life, liberty, and the protection of the government. Hence the government proving it unconstitutional to federally mandate abortion. And I know that might hurt a lot of people's feelings. I am close with people, family members that wanted abortion for different reasons, not being able to support that child, fearing that I'm bringing this child into a messed up situation, fearing that I'm bringing this child and I can't provide for it. I don't know what it's like to be a mother. I understand all of that. But with all the opportunity that is available today, family, adoption, your family members, they have churches that will take in these babies. Don't deprive the baby of an opportunity to exist. You saying that, well, this child is going to be born into a world of haves and have-nots, and this baby might not make it. Give God an opportunity, and I know y'all saying keep religion out of your whole thing. Give nature, the natural course of things, an opportunity, and give that soul the opportunity to fight for its own life. We don't know who that baby could have become. We don't know if that baby could have found the cure for cancer. We don't know any of this, and we'll never know if we terminate that life. Now, I'm gonna give y'all some I'm gonna give y'all some stats real quick, some statistics on abortion. A lot of y'all think that it's the most legendary event. Yeah, she was raped. The mother's gonna die if she gives birth. That's the people that are doing abortion. More than 50% of the people that are getting abortions have had a previous abortion. It is being used as birth control, family. We got to deal with it. And I know friends of mine that can attest to this, friends of mine that also have done this, young ladies that will tell you that I was using this as contraception, abortion, scraping this life out of the woman's, we just got to tell the truth, killing this life to keep me from being obliged to have to raise this baby so I can keep living a life of promiscuity. We're going to deal with it because our society has become so morally bankrupt that we do whatever's in the best interest of that present generation and how you feel, how I feel, selfie generation, whatever makes me happy, right? This is why the LGBT community exists. What makes me feel good. We're not trying to do it the way the Most High orchestrated it, the key and the ignition. We're taking two keys and banging them together and the car will never go anywhere. The human race will never go anywhere because in time, if everybody lived that lifestyle, this would terminate the human population. This goes without saying. But we're in this American capitalistic, do what I want to do. I can make whatever I make to make money. I can make a fast food chain that's going to kill people's health. Do whatever I want to do to make me feel good and satisfy me. We've gotten so away from the biblical Judeo principles of giving back to the Most High, giving back to the Creator, and honoring man as being made in the image of the invisible God. We've gotten so far away from it, family. We do what's in our best interest. So if I want to sleep up and feel good, I should be able to sex my body and make me feel good. You can't tell me what to do. And if I want to kill this baby, I don't want to raise no baby. I just want to feel good. This is my body. That baby in my body. Let me do what I want to do. That's the society we live in. We've so separated from God and honoring the sacred processes of a husband and a wife. That's why fornication was so wicked, family. Because those kind of instances where people, children, because even if you're 40 years old, you're a child, if you think you can lay up with somebody, create a soul, and not take responsibility for that baby that didn't ask to be born, but now you're going to take that baby's life. You're thinking like a child and you're thinking selfishly. And don't try to bring God into it because you don't believe in the Creator. And I'm not talking about a specific religious set of beliefs, because this goes without saying, this is a war against life. And y'all check out that last video that I did about this whole AI sentient thing going on. They're trying to create a slave labor, replicate artificial intelligence while there's a war for the natural lineage. That's why I tell y'all, in 200 years, flesh and blood people could be done away with. That's where Israel comes in. The Most High had to have a contingency plan to protect a certain segment of the human population in case it gets jeopardized by people having abortions, people killing the natural lineage, and then them same people creating artificial intelligence. This stuff, like I know y'all might have seen Blade Runner, where it was like the whole population was sentient, and it was a rare lineage of human beings left and this kind of thing. This is what this stuff is looking like, because our society has become Babylon, has said we can do everything our own way. We can create our own life our own way, not the way that the Creator said, not the way that God said, not the way in honoring the thing that gave you life. No, we're going to do it our own way. We're going to live for pleasure. We're going to live for self. And then we're going to create our own human beings to do the work we don't want to do. That critical race theory based society that we live in. So y'all, this stuff is getting dark, family. But what I will say is, I champion that they finally did this. I actually have to applaud the United States government. I never thought I would say that, Zion, but I do. I have to applaud the United States government for doing this, for saying that this is not constitutional to be killing these babies. And they know that if they give the power to the states to make the decision, most of these states saying, I don't want my state to be named as the one that's killing these little babies. Right? And I have to applaud, and that's the one thing that Alabama, y'all doing a good job. Y'all banning them clinics, and I salute them and approve this message being for life. Because that's what Israel, that's what we represent as a community. Saying that our lives matter, Israelite lives matter. We shouldn't be gunned down. We should have the right to life, liberty, to pursue, to serve our God, to keep our culture, right? And we believe judgment on anybody that comes against God's people, anybody that comes against life, right? So now the government's saying we're going to have a penalty for anybody that comes against these babies' lives. And I applaud that thing. And y'all, and I thank the Most High for that thing. So y'all, I just want to kind of put my input on there. I hope y'all got something from it. I hope y'all learned about it. Y'all continue to pray, family. We're in the last days. This stuff is getting darker and darker. So y'all just stay in the spirit. Our salvation is drawing nigh. I love you all from the bottom of my heart. I could not do this without y'all. I have not forgot about the secret giveaways. I've been trying to get caught back up on the lesson because a lot of y'all, I have been saying, JB, what yet? And I got to do better with that. But we do have another round where we're going to do another round of 3 secret giveaways coming up soon. So I love you all, family. I hope y'all learned something from the lesson. Peace, love, blessings, and Israelite power to all my Israelites, all my Moors, Ephraimites, all those scattered to the 4 corners of the earth of Zion, the 12 tribes. I love you all from the bottom of my heart. Peace, love, and blessings. Shalom. All praises.